What's going on YouTube? CornoCat here, and welcome back to the PSO2 video. So in today's video, we're going to be going over something I'm pretty sure most of you guys probably already know at this point, but when doing a bit of research, I didn't find any definitive evidence one way or another. We're going to be talking about mining node spawns. But before we jump into that, if you're new to the channel, my name is Chrono. I do content here at YouTube daily. Would much appreciate a subscribe as we fight our way up towards that 10K mark by the end of the year. But enough chilling, let's go ahead and jump into this. So I can already hear a few of you jumping down to the comments section and asking, but Chrono, we already know this. We already know that every day new mining nodes spawn. And we already know that, mining nodes don't stack up. But perfectly honest, I know the same thing as well. I actually found out from another one of my friends. However, in the pursuit to find actual answers and actual proof behind these things, I found the internet to be a bit lacking, actually. Everyone just happened to have a post here or a post there, saying it happened here, saying it happened there, but no one really had any definitive proof, not even so much as a few second clip of something happening. So I did what I always do. I figured out a way to test the situation and, find out if my original theory was correct or if, the internet was correct with their theory. So let's start this all out with the theory itself. So mining node respawns, how do they work? What actually happens and what decides what mining nodes we get? So every day at 8 o'clock or 8 a.m. EST, new mining nodes pop up on the server and we run around and collect them. But the question begs to differ of how these mining nodes pop up. We know that mining nodes pop up in clusters and zones. We know that it's very specific, but we don't know exactly how it's decided. So while just gathering a couple of days, I realized when I didn't gather one day, I went back to check my mining nodes and it seemed like I had more nodes than I usually do. Now I say seemed like because, to be perfectly honest, after testing, we found that actually wasn't necessarily the case. Primarily was a placebo effect, and when I tried to corroborate this experience with some of my friends, they actually said the same thing. They noticed that when they didn't mine for a day or two, they had better nodes the day after. So at that point in my brain, I was like, okay, this has to be the case. Maybe mining nodes spawn over the course of a couple of days. It'd be great for the player because it would put them in a situation where they don't have to absolutely farm nodes every single day to not miss out on, resources. That unfortunately was a bit of wishful thinking. While on stream, I had a few people come by and mention, it's like, hey, no, actually mining nodes reset every single day. And I was thinking to myself, of course they reset every day. I mentioned they set up every day, but like over a few days, it seemed like I had better nodes. And the response was like, no, actually I went to go farm some nodes. And then as I was going to go get my nodes, I realized the mining nodes just straight up disappeared right in front of my face. And then my first thought was like, first off, this guy just wants to contradict me, damn it. I had a theory working and I thought this was super awesome. And if it worked this way, that'd be great. But turns out they were actually right. So here's what I did. Over the course of a few days, I didn't mine a very specific section of the world. Actually, I didn't mine at all over the course of about 3 days or so. And what you're probably seeing in the clips right now is me running around to every single node and just counting all of the nodes that I had access to. Now, the first few days, I noticed that nodes actually went up. I went from one number to the next. In this case, the first day versus the second day, I went up by one node, 13 to 14. However, on the third day, I found that I went back down to that 13 number for nodes. And I noticed that nodes weren't popping up in the same spot. The spots that I had been used to seeing where a node was at, there were no nodes there. So at that point, I basically could just say for certain that mining nodes despawn and respawn every day at the daily reset. However, without seeing it happen, it would still just be an assumption. So I did the one thing that would work for me to figure out exactly what we were dealing with. I went out to a zone, I parked myself right in front of that mining node, and I waited until daily reset went through. And guess what? They were right. The node despawned and other nodes respawned. So what that let us know for certain is actually two things, funny enough. One, your daily nodes do reset every day, whether you grab them or not, which is a bummer. I kind of wish they would give you a few days to grab nodes and just have them kind of stack up over time. I feel like it'd be a good way to not only try to keep a mandate down on the amount of progression you can make with a character, but on top of that, also make it so it's not super hardcore. You absolutely have to grab your nodes or you're missing out every single day. And I thought I had a third point, but I don't. It was literally just those two things. But we did learn one other very important detail. Much like all of the different alpha reactors that I think it's the Rappy Code Burst or Rappy Burst, something like that. It's a Twitch or a Twitter account that posts where all the alpha reactors are at. I'll try to leave a link in the video description if I remember it. But much as they record and post where all the alpha reactors are, it looks like all of the zones or all the locations where our nodes spawn also seem to be the same. And the reason I recognized that was just going around collecting nodes. I would see a ranger would, tag a node, and every single person that came by to pick up nodes would grab that exact same node, and they would move on to the same nodes after that. Now, to be 100% absolutely certain of it, we would need more testing, of course. We'd have to have multiple people recording their POVs of everything just to see exactly what we would have. But it seems to me that we have the exact same mining nodes. So if you're a ranger out there who's weak bulleting nodes for the rest of us, you're doing God's work. We thank you. But realistically, that also means that though mining nodes are RNG, at least to an extent, they're not RNG in favor of one player versus the other, which is a good thing. That means no one person can be viciously ahead of the other if they put in the same amount of time. However, that being said, I still personally believe it would be a better system to have them, stack up over time, basically not force the player to have to log in every single day to gather nodes if they want to keep up with, all the nodes they can get. However, at this point in the game, if you've been playing quite a bit, you don't need to worry about gathering every single day. You probably have excess resources anyway. And that's really all I wanted to talk about today. It's just the mining node stuff, kind of what I went through, how I figure this sort of stuff out, so on and so forth, and why I even went through the process of testing it in the first place. Some people are going to see this video, watch this video, and think, well, why bother? Why did you even bother setting all this stuff up? Why bother testing and everything like that? You could have just seen, if you looked up online, that this person, this person, and this person said it. Well, myself personally, I have this responsibility, or else I feel like I have this responsibility to test these things in the first place. I don't want to parrot or provide you guys information that I haven't fully tested or that I don't 100% trust. Even in some of the resources I link, some of the information I don't always 100% trust. It's just the information that I happen to pull from, or I happen to get my ideas, or things that I happen to get the idea to test in the first place. It's important that I cite those resources. It's also important that you guys check me as well. If you happen to find something that's different, just because I'm saying one thing doesn't mean I'm always 100% right. We make mistakes. We all have a responsibility, especially in a situation where the game doesn't flat out give you that information first and foremost, to help one another spread the right information and kind of help with that fight against misinformation altogether. Anyone who knows me knows I dislike the spread of misinformation. If I'm a part of it, I want to do everything I can to go ahead and kick that back, nip that in the bud, so to speak. Now, that's not to say that people are spreading in misinformation on purpose, but sometimes, you just want to believe what you see, and when you parrot that information and it's not correct, it tends to get around, and then we end up with situations like, the myth behind the multi-weapon situation that I had to test out fully. Which, by the way, even some of my friends came around and said, oh no, this is totally how it works, and for a moment I believed them until I tested it out. But at this point, we're just rambling, so let's go ahead and end the video here. As always, guys, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to keep up with the content, the bell icon will notify you videos when they go up, as well as community posts. Don't forget to comment if you guys have any questions or if there's anything that I missed, and join us over on Discord or follow me on Twitter for notifications via those two avenues. Thank you all so much for watching all the way to the end. Again, don't forget to comment if you're part of the end gang, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace out.